Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave, and a little bit of an uploaded video this morning. There's not going to be any sort of live stream. Unfortunately, I actually got surgery yesterday. That's why I cut the live stream short. It's no big deal. It's not anything, like nothing is crazy going wrong or anything like that. Just a little bit of dental surgery, but because of that, I am hopped up on all of these pain pills, which is, kind of, doing a little bit of a toll on my psyche. So I've just popped a few, and I'm going to be racing against time now doing this uploaded video to see if I can finish this before I start slurring my words. So we'll get into it in just a second. I might do another video later tonight depending upon price action, but for the most part I really want to be taking things easy so that I can be fresh and good to go for next week. Anyways, with all that said, let's get in the live stream right now. As always, wish you the best of the best, the happiest of the happiest, as we like to say, and to initially see you in the live stream, baby. And there she is, Bitcoin on the daily. So following up from yesterday, we did see a pretty damn good daily total close. We did close above all major moving averages here on the daily, above the red 10 symbol most notably, and more importantly, as long as we're kind of using this now as a base, which has been retested at the 10,250-ish level, completely fine. As long as we use this as a base, I do look for Bitcoin to get continuation from this region. The reason why I say that is because the time frame that I've really been loving recently, which is the 12-hour, has actually had, 12-hour momentum oscillators have started to point back up again, and more importantly, we have regained that critical 10,300-ish level and are starting to close above there on higher time frames, not just a 4-hour, but like 12-hour daily, and I believe even the 3-day close yesterday, which we'll get into in a second as well. But for right now, looking good as long as we maintain that area. So to follow up from yesterday's video, really just this is the biggest thing, and the biggest thing right here is incredibly simple. You see this horizontal, which is aligned with the white 200 simple and the 4-hour purple 200 exponential moving average right here. As long as we're above there, I am biased towards continuation to the upside. Yes, we can come and base along here plenty of times. It's completely fine. So far, we have come back and retested this level, and thus far it has held up. So I'm that's all well and good right there. And we do see and as I just showed, the momentum oscillators in the higher time frames really starting to turn around in this region, although lower time frames mostly turning down right now. So we're seeing bifurcation, which tells me we're likely to go sideways within this region, but I do like it, and I am biased in the short term to the upside as long as we remain above, once again, that 10,300 pivot. But here's our 4-hour Stokes right here, looking for a fresh cross down. 3-hour Stokes already going to be there, 2-hour Stokes already there, and hourly Stokes actually having a little bit of an upwards party right now. So to me, this says that we likely go sideways along this region, probably tested a few times, but as long as we don't break it, all well and good, and I'll be targeting a move towards the next relevant area, which is going to be somewhere right around here at about 10,550 to 10,600, we'll call it. And again, this is predicated upon the fact that we do not break this horizontal support right around 10,300 on, at the very least, a 2-hour. I would feel more comfortable calling it on a 4-hour, but 2-hour could probably get it as well. And that's really what I'm looking for coming into today. Now, if we do violate this region, if we do start to close 4-hour deltas below it especially, then this is going to look like another lower high, and hidden bearish divergence is going to play out between this point and this point, making significantly higher highs on the oscillator with lower highs on price action. And that would likely put us back down to the 10,050-ish region right around here if that were to happen. So again, if we do break to the downside target, break to the downside over here, target's going to be about 10,050-ish region right here. And I'd probably look for a bounce on the first pass on that one, and then we'll have to come back and reassess. But for right now, Bitcoin coming back down to retest this area right here. Again, no problems until we actually break it. I actually do lean to the upside in this scenario. It just tells me that the lower time frame momentum also is switching around. We're likely to go sideways and test this area, a few times. But again, as long as we don't break it, all is well and good. And what I really do like to see is all of the medium and higher time frames start to turn around right now. So 10-hour Stokes, which actually have been decent with the price action, calling that last move out of this base from about 10,000 bucks even pretty damn well. 12-hour Stokes about to get going, and these have been the phenomenal just cheat code during this whole consolidation over the last 2.5 to 3 months within this region. Each and every time that they've turned, price action has followed in glorious fashion, calling all of the local bottoms and all the local tops actually to perfection, funnily enough. And sometimes just a time frame will just get things right, and when those times happen, just fucking enjoy it, man. Enjoy it until until it stops working. Anyways, what we're looking at right here, again, with the 12-hour, we see all major moving averages conversion on this critical 10-3 region. We see that on all the time frames, really, and it's not just on the 4-hour, it's on the 12-hour, it's on the 20, it's on the daily, it's on the 2-day, and it's on the 3-day. All major moving averages coming in around that critical 10-3-ish pivot. Now, the 3-day, we did close a fresh diddle yesterday night, and we've come back thus far and retested these major moving averages, and so far holding up and off of them. And to me, at the second that we take out not yesterday's, but the prior 3-day diddle high, which was 10,469.5 on Mexico, then I would be looking for continuation all the way up to about 10.7-ish region, give or take, $50, something like that. And thus far, it would look like we're creating a base right around here on a critical pivot, which would make me more bullish on the medium time frames, which can lead on over into the higher and the macro time frames for an actual resolution on the greater formation. The greater formation, this being this one massive formation right here. Going into our actual Sorry, let me go into a fresher chart and and describe that we're still looking at a massive descending triangle over the last almost 3 months now. So technically that would be on the more bearish side, but I don't look at this as playable to the downside until we actually break below this critical level right here at about 94.50, also synonymous with the 382 Fibonacci retracement. To me, that is the only way to really trade one of these without getting faked out. And if we do break to the downside, if we do break below that critical territory, again, 94.50, then I'd be looking for a full-on mesh move all the way down to 6700. Now, there likely would be bounces along the way. 8900, the first area of interest, and 8500 for the good old Gap boys. Once again, getting their vindication, maybe. Then we got the 7600 pivot right here, aligned with the 377 and 200 simple. And then, yes, all the way down to 6700 is where I'd be looking towards. So the stakes are high whichever way that we do break this formation, and I do believe that we get resolution actually within the next week. Between now and next Friday, I do believe that we probably see resolution on this formation, and resolution means either a daily little close below here, 94.50, or above. Technically here, if you're looking at this as a ascending triangle, but I'd really want to see a higher high over this 12,100 pivot right here. If we could do that, I'd be very, very confident in saying that we're ready for the next trending move to the upside. We could target a move towards 14,500, and really after that, like 16,500. Just bullish as fuck after that, really, But for right now, you can see that we're literally right in the middle of this range. If you want to be more aggressive, you could use this downtrend resistance line right here, but it does line up with the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, but these are notorious fake out regions. So yeah, we're quite literally right in the middle of this whole range. So really, if you don't want to have a position right now, there's no dishonor in doing that. But I just think that having a position in this region is pretty damn easy to manage. Like I said, as long as we're above 10.3, I'm happy to hold these longs, of which I show right now. I'm long about 50.5 Bitcoins from 95.39.5 on the perps, and then on the December futures, which have about a little bit less than a $200 premium right now. Got long in those at around 10.2 it would appear. So what I'm doing right now is I've actually covered most of this with options, and what I'll do is I've covered about half of it because I knew that I was going to have this surgery, so I wanted to make sure that things were more or less they're in there. I have a little bit of skin in the game, but I don't want to really put on a I don't want to actively manage this just in case, right? Just in case. Again, nothing's crazy wrong right now. It's just the pain pills kind of fuck with your mind, I suppose. Anyways, if we do break this area to the downside, I will cover it fully all the way down to the 10,000 strike, maybe even 97.50, as we do have $250 strikes now, which is quite nice. Let me just make sure that I'm recording. Okay, I am recording good, and the mic is working as well. Okay, awesome, great. Very happy about that. Don't want to do this one over again. So yeah, if we do break this area right here, I'll just cover them using options. And again, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, it's a very easy way to make money in this sideways bullshit market, which a lot of the trend traders are just absolutely throwing a loop for us. It's just not really too many trending moves to be had in a region like this. Scalpers, kind of like a scalper's paradise, although it's hard to get these pump and dump moves as well. But fair enough, man, fair enough. Anyways, I do want to check out the higher time frame oscillators, as I haven't really gotten a good look at them just yet. But taking everything off and going back on into the daily, we do see daily Stokes down while price action has been more or less sideways. So typically that just allows the oscillator to reset, but I don't really see that as it's kind of like a null point, really. We do see a daily RSI regaining the exponential. Really wanted to see that. Now, this is not conclusive in and of itself, but it does seem to me that we're forming a base here and rejecting the bearish control zone. More importantly, what I need to see now is the next tick actually rally off this exponential, and that would make me feel a lot better with calling this move back up into the bullish control zone, which is likely going to put Bitcoin price action back to the 11.5, maybe even $12,000 region right here. So the stakes are high for both the upside and the downside. 10.3 being the ultimate pivot. I mean, you can have it. You can have a position both ways. I mean, technically, you'd want to have it from the long side right here, at least in the way that I tried. I'd want to take a long position first, and then if we break to the downside, we'll just put on the fucking shorts, man. I mean, you have a pretty damn easy move back down here towards 10.50, $10,050. I should be correct, or sorry, I should be more clear with. But hey, if we come back down there, I mean, that's a $300 play, pretty fucking good, man, or almost $300 play. And to the upside, it's a little bit more open-ended. I would call a short-term target of about 10.7, but even 10.7, I'd only be looking for a short-term pullback off there if we did get up there. and then I look for continuation actually all the way up to about 10.9, maybe even 11,000. As now there is something very interesting to me on the daily right here. With the way that we played off the Cyan 89 exponential moving average once again, this actually is shaping up to be an inverted head and shoulders. Very rarely will you hear me call out these formations, because I'm not a huge pattern trader myself. But when I do see a formation on the overall side of the macro trend, in this case for the last 6-7 months, just straight to the upside, I pay more attention to it. And it's good to know what the pattern traders are thinking, even though for me, I would really need to see a daily total closure above this prior high right here at about 10.9 for me to fully and formally call this next move to the upside. And if we do confirm that above, then that would be the impetus for sending this bitch back to, this lovely later back to, let's see, I'm going to imagine like probably 12,000. Yep, and that would set us right back to our prior high of August 7th at almost 12,000 bucks. And that's what really I need to see to call resolution to the upside. I would not call resolution if we do print above 11.3 resistance right here, or 11.4 resistance right there. I think it's too premature. It would technically be right, but those are fucking, again, notorious trappy areas. I'd be very careful with it. But yeah, overall Bitcoin, I do think is kind of, like I said yesterday, I just do feel like it's gonna pull through. But I don't trade my feelings. My feelings are pretty much hit or miss. It's not really anything to go off of. But I do like how Bitcoin's been constructive within this region. Like as of recently, I feel like if we were gonna fall through, we really would have done it. We really would have made a much greater attempt right here. For now, I think at the very least we're gonna go test some resistances. And the only way that I really get bearish is if we actually, close some higher time frame dildos below 10.3, and then we'll have to come back and play the micro game once again. But for now, a little bit more interesting. I do think that we see anything else? Historical volatility percentile still downtrending and actually really taking a nosedive here, really lining up for a resolution date in the next week actually. So remember, we do have a Fed, the U.S. Fed economic meetings talking about interest rates. The ECB is talking about interest rates. Everyone's talking about fucking negative rates. This is a good thing for Bitcoin actually, and gold and silver and all hard assets. That is when they typically do rally as like the hedge. It's a hedge when you don't actually need the hedge. It gets played as the hedge, right? But hey, while it's like that, enjoy it. And I believe that meeting is on both the 18th and then maybe another one on the 23rd. Also the date of Backed coming online. So all jokes aside, with good old daddy Backed, that is an event where typically it's actually it's a sell the event type thing. You get event psychology, and you can really look at the last 6-7 months as us pricing that in, and that event would certainly be a little bit more on the bear side to me, whereas the Fed cutting rates would be massively bullish. Now, which one do I put more weight on? Of course, the Fed cutting rates. That is much more tangible, much more direct, and much more long-term lasting than just one of those engineered dumps. To me, that's less important and doesn't take as it doesn't take priority of of a federal economic event. Other than that, the higher time frames are mostly unchanged. So if you want the more long-term look at that, definitely go check out the playlist titled Long-Term Analysis. I'll go into much more detail there. So this is kind of like as far as I'll go on this one right here. Maybe we'll go up to like a weekly and see how it did. Weekly still being held below the red 10 simple. I really need to see a weekly dildo closing above this red 10 simple. Then we can start to target a move towards 11.5 once again. It would confirm this as hidden bullish divergence, which I think it's still a topic of conversation, just not confirmed. We need to confirm it with a move like that, and then we can target a move about another $1,000 higher, really. So pretty, pretty damn tradable move. But yes, we would have hidden bullish divergence in play right here, and I'd be looking for the R side to work its way back up into here on the weekly schedule, which would put us at the top side of the range, 11.5, extremely likely, maybe even 12,000 if that were to happen. But still, man, this is not all said and done. I don't want to make it sound, we're still living in a descending triangle, right? It kind of looks like a potential ascending triangle on a weekly though. So, keep your eyes and ears out, and this is the time to be agnostic as a trader and just really, really just go with the winning side as far as I'm concerned. Let's go check out the expected moves chart. We were squeezing to the upside yesterday. We already got that move. I need to see continuation in the next 24 hours. Otherwise, this will very, very likely become a lower high, and we will come back down not just to that $10,050 level, but likely all the way down here towards 9,600, 9,650-ish region. So it is a ticking time bomb right now. Bulls have to respond. I want to see bulls get continuation in the next 24 hours, actually. Maybe you could extend that to 36 hours, but when I say continuation, I mean above yesterday's daily total high at 10,469.5 on Mexico. If we could do that, I would really start to target a move, not at the top of the first deviation, but actually all the way up here towards 10.6 region. If we could get that, it would start to look a lot better. As you know, as far as we're concerned right now, the bottom of the first deviation coming in right around about a little bit below 10.2 actually. I'm not, if we can, I'm not sure how much I agree with this, although that's kind of a stupid thing to say. It's like, it's fucking mathematics, right? It's going to say what it's going to say. But to me, I put the critical support right at 10.3, not at 10.2. If we go below 10.2, it's unnecessary risk. I wouldn't look for, maybe it does bounce a little bit, but I wouldn't look for it to hold. For me, the bulls need to take control right here, actually right now, and not give up the 10.3 level if this is to play out in the in the upside. As again, I'm looking for a resolution on this in the next week now. Now let's go check out the crypto fear and greed index, where we are taking out a 38. If you recall, which I actually don't, I haven't spoken to Bali in a couple of days now. I hope he's all right. As as I know he kind of goes in and out, but looking at the crypto fear and greed index right now, it is still in the fearful zone. We're still at a 38, and we've been hanging around this region for a long time. And if you remember, when we looked at a correlation coefficient between the fear and greed index and Bitcoin itself, it was extremely high. So this kind of looks primed to me like it actually does want to move to the upside, putting in a little bit of a consolidation right here, if you really wanted to call it like that. Now, of course, this is not like fair to really do, but it would be a little bit more on the side of offering up some more upside, I suppose. But that's, again, a secondary consideration. It's not in any way primary, and more importantly, there are more tangible things to be focusing on right now, especially when we're quite literally in the in the middle of this range. I forgot to check out 2-day. The 2-day momentum oscillator still headed up. More importantly, 2-day Stoch's going to break this trend line right here, or have a chance to break it, which is also at the edge of the bearish control zone. So if we can confirm above that later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that would also make me look for continuation off this, especially if we can close the 2-day dildo anywhere above the yellow 21, which is 10,328 and a half. On stamp, if we could do that, I would be looking for continuation as well, probably up to about 10.6 region on the lower time frames, and then likely beyond that over time. So that's really what I want to wait for, coming into tonight. I need to see the 2-day close above 10.330. I want to see the daily get continuation after that above yesterday's high. If we get both those things, targeting a move towards about a little bit above 10.600 immediately, and then probably higher over time to this region. But that's still, a little bit further away, right? It's going to take its time overall. Anyways, we looked at that. Let's see what else we want to talk about. Let's go look at the Bitcoin dominance chart really quick. Bitcoin dominance over here. And what do we see? Come on, baby. Show it to me. Show me the money. Wow. I was not expecting that. Or no, yes, we were expecting this back up to 72.5, but this, I was looking for a rejection here. This is not looking like a rejection to me right now. I know I said that I did think that this was going to come back to 72.5. We've gotten that move, but this is, I would have expected an immediate rejection if this is going to reject, and we haven't got that actually. I'd give it a little bit of time. But this actually might spell more disaster for alts immediately rather than not. I was looking for a rejection right here and then to come back down to about 70.5%. With the way that we close, this is a strong close. I would kind of hold back on that statement. I'd be bullish for now. If we do move back down below this trend line, below 72% or 72.25, then yes, I'll call another move back down to 71.5 at the very least, and then likely 70.5 actually as well. And that's going to benefit a lot of alts. But this was a pretty damn good closure. While I did call it to the upside, I think that it actually gets continuation from here now. Let's go check out Mr. Cardano and see how he's doing. Where is he? There he is at 439 Satoshi. Yeah, getting knocked back down to its prior lows. I mean, we called this move as well, but I'm actually not leaning towards the stopping right here now. I do think that it probably comes back down to the prior low. This becomes another lower high. The only way that I'd switch around, flip to bullish, if we printed back above 450, then I'd target a move back up here towards 500. So again, that was a pretty damn good close. So I actually would be changing my medium-term outlook on that one. Short-term outlook's going to be right. Not saying that to sound arrogant or anything like that, but it is, it is interesting nonetheless. That's well, we did close pretty damn strong there. I was not expecting that, so I would actually put the odds in the favor of continuation on the Bitcoin dominant chart rather than in regression. Anyways, just going back down to the Bitcoin dominance chart, I should point out that the higher time frames are still massively bullish. I mean, remember the weekly had its first open and closure above the white 200 simple here for the first time actually in history. That's not really fair to say because there's just not been that much history. Kind of like clear skies up to really like 75 or 77% actually. So, if this does want to trend again, alts are going to get absolutely fucking cream pied. It's going to be extremely nasty. I do want to check out gold as well. Gold week. Oh man, gold. Phenomenal. Okay, so we called the move back up to 1525. I said that a pullback from there. We got that pullback, but now being resilient here once again, it looks to me like it actually wants to take another move towards 1515. Now, on this next move, I don't have an opinion on whether it rejects or not. In fact, the resiliency of this in this, in this territory, I would give the nod to the bulls for now. It does look like it wants to reaccumulate here, but remember when Bitcoin, spent the last 6 to 7 months going straight to the upside. You can look at gold as kind of like that, and likely go sideways more than anything. So I do think that we probably create a trading range somewhere between about like 1525 and 1469 over the next like few weeks, and then probably try some upside from there. Weekly. Toppy, toppy for now. So to me, this is sideways in a range, most likely. And that's kind of how I'd leave it right there. Good for Bitcoin overall because we do see these guys correlate with each other. But let's go check out the actual true correlation with traditional markets, which. Yeah, I think that this confirmed as as the bear trap right there. I do think that I'm gonna be wrong about the 275 call, as we have made, I believe, new yearly highs. We made new all-time highs yesterday, and today it's looking pretty damn good as well. I would switch around on that, looking for that 275 bear trap once again, if and only if we violate 296 to the downside. So for right now, I'm bullish, and I do think that we get continuation. While I'm gonna be while I was primarily thinking that we come down here before the bear trap, looks like it's going to happen from here, which fair enough. At the end of the day, the same momentum is the same, but I do it's looking good to me on the higher time frames here. Again, at some point in time, this is going to be getting extremely toppy, extremely frothy. I mean, the monthly looks fucking good to me right here. Actually, very good reaction off the red 10 simple. You can't be bear. I can't be bearish on anything that's above all major moving averages. We do have new all-time highs. Yes, okay. Monthly stocks looking good as well. Again, I think that the people who are looking for this to fucking collapse are still a little bit premature on something like this. For now, still has a little bit more to go as we get closer and closer to those negative interest rates, which is going to be a catalyst for this until you have to actually count the cash, right? But for now, they can keep on playing the game. I'm not saying that the game is good. I'm not saying that the game is like anything really to be going off of, but what I can say is, well, for now, it's still got some more upside, and I'd be looking for continuation here more likely than anything. If we do give up this 296 level to the downside, then yes, I would flip back around to being bearish and immediately target a move back down to like 286, and then probably that would be the time where I do think that the 275 bear trap does end up playing out. But for right now, we're right at a prior high. It's common that you pull back off an area like this, but maybe a pullback target at like 299 or something like that, and then I'd be looking for another try higher. Let's go check out the other top 2 shitcoins in the crypto sphere, and let's see how they're doing. We see Mrs. Litecoin right here. Mrs. Litecoin, come on, show it to me, baby. Not good. This is concerning. Once again, the altcoins not getting the same sort of love that Bitcoin is, not benefiting from it. And what is this? Just another generous attempt to give you another fourth opportunity to buy on the same trend line. Not fucking good, man. Even getting a first fucking retest on a real breakout is very rarely going to happen on like a legitimate breakout, and this one likely to be a failure in my opinion. Probably does end up breaking this to the downside, $68. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin sets the pace. So if I was just looking at Mrs. Litecoin, I would be bearish. If I was not looking at just Mrs. Litecoin, if I was looking at Bitcoin and kind of putting it in in line with that, I'd be more neutral. Same levels apply. If we get a daily little closing above about $71, that'd be good enough for me for continuation up to 76 immediately, and then $80 a little bit more medium term. But for right now, pressure seems to still be onto the downside. Weekly is a very anemic response to the test of the 200 exponential moving average. Really expected more from that. If we do lose that level longer term, we will head down to $55 and perhaps lower than that. But I would be looking for a big bounce off the $55 mark first and foremost. What about Mr. Buterol? Where is he? Where are you, lazy bitch? There you are. 179 looks like the same chart as Mrs. Litecoin. I mean, what does this look like right here? If we really fail to rally back above like 210, 215 relatively soon, it's going to look like it's going to really start to shape up and act like another lower high. On a macro scale as well. Daily holding off the red 10 simple, just barely, but looks exactly like Mrs. Litecoin. This is not the breakout you'd expect. If this is going to be a falling pizza, this is not the breakout you'd expect. Just drifting sideways aimlessly here. This is not what you'd expect. This is not the right read. It is not going to act as a falling pizza. Doesn't mean that the upside is never going to happen, but I need to see still a daily total closure above 184. Until that happens, no targets towards 203. no targets towards 235, no targets towards 260, and next major relevant support is going to be back down here towards the 170-ish region. Again, needs to hold that area too. If we lose that area to the downside, welcome to fucking 150, and perhaps even lower than that. It's going to start to look really, really nasty. But again, Bitcoin's likely to set the pace here, so look to Bitcoin to kind of be the decider. Now, I've been speaking about mostly more kind of positive-minded things on Bitcoin spot. I should go over here to CMEs, which are not looking strong. CMEs have given up the purple 200 exponential moving average right here. This horizontal that I have had in for quite some time, also being laid off as well. Now, just a one closure below doesn't really do it, especially when it's this close. It actually technically didn't close below the horizontal, but I don't like that read right there. And if we do start to close below, then, you know, again, looks to me like it wants to come back down and grind out this 10,000, you know, this lower 10,000 region right there. Momentum oscillators on the lower time frames still headed up, or sorry, no, looking about the same as spot. Here's a 4 hour, here's your 3 hours, both on the same side, hourly headed up, but 2 hour going to be down. So at the very least, we are going to test this area out some more time. I don't think that we just get continuation from here, even if this is going to remain bullish. But CME is looking a lot less lackluster, a lot less inspired. And if we do close the daily like this, I would not like it. I need to see the daily closing above all major moving averages, and then I want to see continuation coming into tomorrow. Otherwise, this is extremely likely to become another lower high, and the next washout will be brutal. I mean, we can talk about short-term targets as we just did, but more medium-term, we would very, very likely come back down here based upon this 9,600-ish region, and that's the danger zone. So fair enough. You know, we already spoke about what's likely to happen if that area were to break. I do think, do we get another bounce off that area? We've already had 4 or 5. I mean, it's just not a fucking good thing, man. Anyways, I don't want to be all, I do want to be a little bit more positively minded here, just because, at the end of the day, man, this pullback thus far has been pretty in line with what Bitcoin likes to play out, historically speaking, about a pullback of 36%. You see all these pullbacks in the last prior bull market, coming in around that territory. This first one about 38%. This next one right here about 36%. This next one right here, I'm doing a very bad job of this, 34%. This next one right here at about 35%. This next one right here at about 40%. You get the idea. It's very much in line is kind of what I want to suggest right now. And more importantly to that point is that, as long as Bitcoin holds up this major moving average on the macro timeframes, which I'll just highlight right here. Let me get rid of everything except for the green 55. And this is on the 2-day dildo time frame, by the way, if you want to, if you want to recreate this. But we can see that historically speaking, the green 55 exponential moving average on the 2-day time frame has done a pretty damn good job of holding up those bullish dumps during your general upwards markets. During the bearish times, we like to sell off on it, of course. But as you can see over here, yes, we actually do break it a few times, but it never veers too far, and we never really get too many opens and closes below it. Anyways, more importantly, we did come down and officially test it last week, and kind of even earlier this week as well. So I would say from a macro perspective, as long as we're above it, historically speaking, fine. I think it gets things a little bit better than the 21 exponential moving average on the weekly, which it should be kind of naturally in line with. Here's where the 21 is, all coming in around the same area, right around about 9,200, I believe it is. Let me just put them in right here. Yeah, the yellow 21, actually a little bit lower, 9,300. The 2-day, obviously, we did test last week, so I think it's a little bit more precise. And as long as we maintain above it, I think overall okay. But I really want to see those next major closures. Of course, 2-day RSI needs to close above the exponential. Otherwise, I will immediately get bearish off that one as well for a move back down to the green 55 exponential moving average. Anyways, okay, alrighty. Let's see. Let's go back on over here, and I think it's time to wrap this bitch up. I think I've spoken about everything I want to speak about. Maybe let's go check out Bitcoin versus yen, as that has been a pretty damn good indicator in the past. I haven't really been checking it recently, but during 2018, this was just a phenomenal kind of DeLorean trade almost every time. Bitcoin versus yen looks more bullish here. Clearly closing above the 12-hour 200 simple, and to me, looks like it wants continuation here. Looking okay. 12-hour Stokes having a fresh cross the upside. Nice, like it. Anyways, back on a Bitcoin, back on the lower time frames. It all really comes down to this area right here, the area that all major moving averages kind of aligned with. Right at the 10,300-ish pivot. As long as we're closing 4-hour dildos above there, I do think that we, spend some time consolidating here and then try some upside, perhaps into tomorrow. But if we do lose this area, then I'd be looking for another move back down to like $10,050. And that's going to be, once again, kind of in, you know, a little bit more of a precarious place. We'll come back to that if, you know, if and when it does happen. I do lean a little more to the upside here, but again, with my trading, I'm pretty much covered, and I'm happy to flip short if that does, you know, if the situation calls for. For right now, I really want to just be kind of taking things a little bit more easy, and I can feel the pain pill starting to kick in right now, so I'll be wrapping up the video right now. And I suppose, as always, wishing you well, wishing you the best of the best, as I'd like to wish you a happy Friday, happy and restful and peaceful and less painful Friday than what I'm dealing with right now. And take care, and perhaps we'll be on later tonight. I'm not so sure just yet. Like I said, I do want to take it more easy, but hey, take care and see you soon.